Welcome to Africa Insight. This week we'll look at a story in Rwanda and its neighborhood, but we'll start with developments in Malawi, a country that's gearing up for general elections in September. As things stand, we're looking at a rematch between the incumbent, Lazarus Chakwera, and the man he bested in 2020, Peter Mutharika. Look back a year ago, and the talks were that the presidential polls would be a three-horse race, with then-President, Vice President Saulos Chilima the wild card. Then, of course, came the tragic plane crash that killed him and 8 others on June 10th, 2024. The circumstances surrounding the tragedy were always a bit curious. Chilima set out from the capital Lilongwe to Mzuzu in the north to attend the funeral of a friend, a former justice minister, only to have the plane turned around because of bad weather. Not long thereafter, the plane crashed in the Chikangabwa forest, killing everyone on board. The wreckage was only found about a day later because, as investigators later found, the Air Force Dornier 228 had no emergency locator transmitter, and ground control had conflicting information about its whereabouts. Suggestions of foul play only increased when it was discovered that the plane had no cockpit voice recorder or flight data recorder on board. Dornier is a German manufacturer, and accordingly the German aviation authorities were roped in to investigate. Now, Chilima's widow, Mary, and his party, the United Transformation Movement, both called for a commission of inquiry, which Mr. Chakwera duly ordered. And in December, that inquiry said it found no evidence of foul play. Last week, the German aviation authorities said the same thing in their final report. Now this week, on June 10th, President Chakwera spoke at the official commemoration of the tragedy in the Chikangabwa forest, but absent were Mary Chilima, the UTM, and other opposition parties, who instead attended a memorial in Chilima's hometown in Sipe, where he was laid to rest. The elections are now 3 months away, and Chilima's ghost will stalk it. He was seen as a credible challenger, handsome, successful, and much younger than Chakwera and Mutharika. Now, Malawi's parliamentary elections will also be interesting. No party has won an outright majority in the democratic era, and coalition governments have become the norm. The current coalition, the Tonse Alliance, will not be reconstituted, and smaller parties like the UTM are shopping around for the best offer. Jervin, what's on your radar?
Yes, Louw. So an interesting story around Rwanda and regional integration in Africa. So on June 7th, Rwanda announced its withdrawal from the Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS, that's a mouthful though, after being blocked from assuming the chairmanship of the bloc due to involvement in the Eastern DRC conflict, which it denies. In a strongly worded statement, Rwanda declared that the country's right to assume the chairmanship was intentionally denied to enforce what it called the DRC's diktat, and saw no justification for remaining. Rwanda's withdrawal from ECAS is unlikely to carry any major political or economic consequences in isolation. However, it raises broader concerns for AfTA, that is the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which relies on the coordination and the functionality of RECs, regional economic communities, to serve as a building block for its implementation. AfTA, which aims to create a single market of 1.4 billion people with a combined GDP of 3.4 trillion, is Africa's most ambitious project for economic integration and political cooperation. Fragmentation among RECs undermines its progress, and tensions within other RECs reinforce its concerns, such as seen between ECOWAS and the AES states. Rwanda's exit also reflects a deeper issue in international relations, the growing tension between multilateral institutions and national interests. Accusations that ECOWAS is being manipulated for political ends mirrors criticisms often directed at the UN, where dominant powers shape the agendas. This challenges the liberal international order's assumption that states will act cooperatively for shared benefit. Instead, realist tendencies where states prioritize sovereignty are resurfacing, raising questions about the relevance of regional and global institutions in this multipolar world. I think let's leave it at that, Louw.
Thank you for joining Africa Insight this week. If you'd like more information on our products or services, please visit our website or socials.